throughout Scripture and all human experience, I believe it is clear that God acts in history. The creation, the flood and inundation, freeing the Hebrew slaves, exiling the Hebrews in Babylon, and then bringing them back. The appearance of the Christ through the man Jesus. The ministries and missions of all the apostles and saints, all the way up to this present day, are all about God acting, causing things to be done through us, and through God's love for us, and by God's love for us. God's all-powerful love, not God's omnipotence. And the one big question through all of this God action through history is the theodicy. Why does God allow bad things to happen to good people? If you're expecting me to answer it. Most of us tend to look at God as being just. That if we do this, then God will do that. Sort of like a vending machine. I put my quarter in, my $1.50 in, and I get something for it. Or we look at it as most Americans tend to look at God. For you Downton Abbey fans, we tend to look at God as Carson the butler. We ring the little bell pull, and God appears. Probably looks like Carson to me. That's how Americans tend to think of God. Now, some of us, after we put our coins into the vending machine and we don't get what we're hoping to get, go away. Mad, but we go away. But some of us stick around and curse the machine, beat on the glass. I've seen a few broken glasses in vending. We maybe even let our face slide down the side. We want that Milky Way so much. Not that I've ever done that. Yeah. I guess it all depends on how hungry we are. Some of us, when we call for the butler or the hired help, we get mad if they don't bring exactly what we wanted, and we fire them. This brings us to today's passage from Job. Now, just as an aside, this is totally as an aside. Do you know what a capitonym is? Capitonym. A capitonym is a word that changes pronunciation just by capitalizing it. Big J-O-B, Job. Little J-O-B, Job. Big P as in Polish. Little p as in polish. The city in France on the Mediterranean coast, Nice. Cara is nice. Just interesting, I thought. Take it. Do whatever you wish with it. Or do nothing with it. So on to Job. Capital J-O-B. So Job has been saying how he wanted to give God a piece of his mind. He had been rich, good health, had everything. And if you remember the story, Satan, the devil, said, he only worships you because he's got all this stuff. Let me take it away from him and you'll see how he does. Well, God says, okay. Job gets boils, he loses all his cattle. He has all these frenemies. Friends that you might really prefer to have enemies, but they're your friends. Talking to that, it's your fault, Job. It's your fault that this has happened to you. But Job's like that person at the vending machine. He didn't walk away mad, but he's banging on the glass. He wants to argue with God. And what we heard today is God's response. Out of the whirlwind. What is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up your loins like a man. I will question you, and you shall declare to me, where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? On what were its bases sunk? These questions that God's giving back to Job. Now, some scholars don't really know what to make of this response, which is sort of like a mini creation story. Some say God didn't answer Job at all, just gave him more questions. Questions to Job's charges against God. But usually when I disagree with scholars, I know I'm on thin ice. But I believe that this is an answer. I believe it is the answer that Job needs. I believe it's the answer that you and I need. I don't want my God to be a vending machine. Because sometimes I'm not going to have that quarter or that $1.50. Yes, I believe we need to know that we are not in control. I believe we need to know that we are not qualified to sit on the right and left hand of God as did the disciples asked Jesus to do in today's gospel. Now, I'm not sure the other disciples got mad at James and John for asking to sit at the right and left hand of Jesus, or if they got mad at them because they didn't get to ask first. But I think we need to know that no matter how righteous we are, or think we are, we may be asked, or shall I say, will be asked, to drink the cup that Jesus drank from. If you remember, Jesus asked not to drink from it there at the end. But then Jesus said, acknowledging who was in control, but thy will be done. God, you're in control. The disciples were asked, and we present-day disciples will be asked, some of you have been asked, to drink the cup that Jesus drank and have the baptism that Jesus had in his passion. Now, Job could have walked away from his ash heap, as many walk away from that vending machine when they don't get what they expect to get. We could sever our relationship with God, or at least give it a try. At least give it a try to sever it. I'm not for sure that we can ever sever our relationship with God. But I do think the words of Job, from Job, will follow us and arise in our hearts when we need the answer to why. At least while we are confined to this earthly realm. I don't have the answer to why bad things happen to good people. But as your former priest here, Dan Edwards, said, who's now the Bishop of Nevada, from his book, God of Our Silent Tears, taking God out of the equation, bad things still happen. The mystery of God's grace will be sufficient for this up and down, happy and sad journey of life, whether we acknowledge it or not. And our relationship with the God of love allows us to shake our fist, bang on the glass, to ask questions and get mad at God, just like Job did. But like Jeopardy, like the game show Jeopardy, the answers may be in the form of a question. Amen.